I can do it. Okay, now I can smile. Okay, we start. Sorry, I'm very, very sorry about what happened this morning. I was waiting for this meeting for so long time, and it's happened, but we will go ahead and everything will be fine. And I want to say thank you for all the teachers that were patient and were waiting very quiet and sorry. And thank you very much for coming. And I'm very exciting. And I will give Erez, my colleague, to start the meeting. And I have to relax. And Erez, it's your stage. Thank you, everybody. And sorry again. Bye.
Okay. Ilana, you can open your video if you want.
Why? It's open.
Okay.
My video is open. You don't see me?
No.
Oh, yeah. There's a picture of you.
Only picture?
Yeah, there's only a picture of you. Ilana, and are you recording?
Sorry, I'm sorry, but I can see myself. So what I do now? No, it's not. Now it's not the real thing about. You will see my picture. If this is the problem, you will handle it. I'm sorry. I will try to do it and see what's going on. Okay, so where is Mario? I didn't see Mario. What about your face?
Okay. So.
Hello.
Hi, Mario. So can Helen please and Arjana and Inika unmute yourselves so you can join in the conversation?
I just
Mario?
did. Yeah, I just did. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
We can hear you, but we don't see you.
You still don't see me?
Yeah, we don't see you. You need to...
רואים את מריו, עידן.
אז יש לי בעיה פה, איזה קטע. ארז, משהו בהגדרות שלך מונע ממני דברים, לראות משהו אחרים, אני לא יודעת.
מריו, we can see you, all good.
לא, אתם עדיין לא רואים אותי? כי אני רואה את עצמי, אתם לא רואים אותי?
אני גם לא רואה את מריו. וגם את אילנה.
אני רואה המון אנשים.
מריו, אני רואה את אוסי. תראו את מריו, תדפדפו קדימה.
רואים את מריו.
לא, רואים את השם שלו, אבל לא תמונה. תדפדפו קדימה ותראו אותו, הוא מופיע פעמיים, פעם אחת בלי תמונה, פעם אחת בלי תמונה.
אוקיי, אז תעשה אותו בקו-רוסט עם התמונה. רגע.
אילנה, למעלה כתוב לכם view, ויש לכם gallery view או speaker view, למי שעדיין לא... אז אם אתם עושים את זה בגלרי view, ואתם מדפדפים, אז תוכלו לראות.
אבל לא, אבל אני לא רוצה, אני רוצה שהוא ישים את
guys, can we please stop talking? And we only need...
תשתיק את כולם, ותתחיל לצאת זום, גמרנו.
Can you see me? Ilana, I could see you moving now.
Wait a minute.
There was a progress.
I want to see you just a minute. Where are you?
Okay, so we only need the four pioneers to be unmuted, and we're going to start.
לא שומעים אותו עכשיו.
Okay, so hopefully you can all hear me. And thank you, Ilana, and thank you for everyone for joining.
לא, מריו מדבר, לא שומעים אותו.
תגיד למרצים שישימו את unmute, רק המרצים.
Mario, you're muted still.
לא, ב-mute.
Yeah.
Okay, so now Mario is unmuted, so it's all good.
It feels good to be unmuted.
It feels great to be unmuted. Yeah, speak freely.
Logged in too. That's
Okay, so hi everyone. I'm Erez. Thank you, Ilana, for organizing everything, and thank you everyone for joining in the discussion, and hopefully the rest can actually hear us and see us on Facebook. You can share the link that I've sent on the chat.
there's
It's a direct
Facebook.
link.
Okay.
And hopefully it's not going to stop in about 50 minutes because we've been trying for the past 45 minutes. So on today's discussion, we're really happy to welcome four pioneers of four waterwork modalities. So we have with us Helen, Arjana, Mario, and Inika. And I'm really excited to be able to actually sit with all of you and share this space with everyone. So the discussion is going to be held in the following format, and we'll sort of try and keep it on relatively short in terms of answering the questions. We're going to ask everyone, all the pioneers, a few questions and ask you to answer them by order. The other participants can actually ask questions in the chat if you want. Feel free to ask them in the chat, and Ilana is going to filter through them as we go along. And towards the end of the conversation, we're going to select a few questions and present them to the forum. And lastly, just before we finish, we're going to ask the pioneers to ask another pioneer a question. So Arjana is going to ask Helen, Mario will ask Arjana, Inika will ask Mario, and Helen will ask Inika. So we'll have each pioneer asking a question.
Could you repeat that, Erez? Just I kind of missed the whole thing. Oh, just kidding. Go ahead.
I'm going to have lots of fun with you, Mario. I think we need to connect some more.
Shortly. Oh, you will figure out. You will figure out when we start. You start. Okay. You will understand. He's a very intelligent person. You will understand what's going on.
Okay. So the first question I'm going to present to you is for the younger generation. Okay. There's a bit of an echo, so I'm going to start. So for the younger generation who doesn't know you, could you please briefly introduce yourselves in just a few sentences? So we'll start with you, Helen. And I'm going to share the screen as we go so we can watch the video.
No, don't get too fancy now, Erez. Let's get the basics first.
I'm German, and I...
Share screen?
I'm trying, it doesn't let me.
I will do it, okay, just a minute.
Because you're the host.
Okay. So I make
Oh, no, but you need to make me a host because I need to share my screen with the video.
Okay, she can start to talk and then I will put the... אני לא יכולה לעשות את זה, אני לא יכולה להפוך אותך להוסט. רגע.
Brunschwiler Helen, because I can't.
ארז, אם אתה קורסט, אתה יכול זה, תפסיק אותי לקורסט, אני לא יכולה לעשות כלום. תבדוק רגע שוב, רגע. שינית משהו בהגדרות שם. אוקיי, אז אני אקח את זה מה שלחתי לך במייל. תתחיל, תשאל את השאלה ואני אעלה את הסרט תוך כדי, בסדר? שאל את השאלה שוב, שתתחיל לדבר, אני אעלה את הסרטון. ארז? אתה בסדר?
Okay. So Helen, can I'm going to ask the question again. You can start. So for the younger generation who don't know you, could you please briefly introduce yourself?
Yes, I do. I'm Helen.
לא שומעים אותה.
Can't hear anything.
אילנה, שיחברו את הוידאו כולם, ואז יהיה יותר שמיעה טובה.
ארז, שמעת? תודיע לכולם לכבות את הוידאו שלהם, שתהיה שמיעה יותר טובה.
I'm trying to see if we can...
לא, האינטרנט שלה לא בסדר גם לדעתי, כי אתמול ניסיתי להתקשר אליה ולא שמעתי מילה.
אני שמעתי, כן. I'm trying to get every... If we can...
מה קורה, ארז?
I'm trying to get everyone to turn off their video.
No, just ask them.
Okay, so now everyone is turning off their video. כלום? שום דבר?
זה לא קשור לוידאו בכלל.
לא, זה קשור, אבל ארז, שתדבר, שננסה לדבר, אם לא תעבור לבאה בתור. לא, אי אפשר להתעכב פה על הדברים האלה. עכשיו אנחנו ננסה למצוא אינטרנט יותר טוב אולי.
תתקדמו למריו, נו.
תתקדמו לארג'נה, ארג'נה זה הבאה בתור.
Okay, so we're going to continue with Arjana. Okay,
And,
so we're going to continue
back,
with Arjana.
And we will come back to Helen again. Helen, we have to come back to Helen again. Start with Arjana. No, but just a minute. Helen is the first one in the Watsu. Let's try again, please. Helen.
Okay.
Helen, your internet is not stable. Yesterday I tried to talk to you. Can you change a place or with the telephone maybe is better? Helen? תסגור את הפייסבוק. אז הפייסבוק עושה לך את הרעש, יש לך איזה בשידור חי, תסגור, שלא ישמעו את הפייסבוק ואין לך שידור חי באמת.
כן, אצלי אני לא רואה...
אנשים אומרים שלא רואים אותך בכלל. אוקיי, אז בואו נמשיך, תסביר להלן שאנחנו נחזיר אליה אחרי זה עוד פעם, ננסה עוד פעם. תמשיך עם ארג'נה. ארז, אתה איתי?
אני איתך, כן.
אז בוא תמשיך לארג'נה, בבקשה.
ועכשיו אני גם שומע משהו. סוף סוף יש פחות דיליי.
מצוין.
Okay, so we'll continue with you, Arjana. So for the young generation who don't know you, could you please briefly introduce yourself?
I got the question.
Okay.
But it's kind of a really difficult question, you know.
Okay.
But well, let me say something, you know, what now we are playing here for an hour or so, and I hear Hebrew, and it makes me think of Israel. I've been quite a few times in Israel, and it's always like this, you know, a lot of blah, 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 blah. But so much heart also. I really love Israeli people, you know, believe me. So it feels like I'm sitting in Tel Aviv or somewhere in Israel, and I'm meeting you all, you know.
Yeah, it's a unique country.
It's a very unique country, you know. But you somehow always find a solution in the end.
Yep, that's true. That's true.
So what shall I say? I'm a woman, 59. I'm Swiss, and I'm working in the water since more than 30 years. And my passion is WaterDance. And the image that you can see here is actually what is happening in WaterDance when people are led underwater with a nose clip.
Okay, all right. So thank you. Maybe we can try Helen again. See if Helen can hear us. Okay, so we'll continue with Mario.
Oh, me?
Yes.
Hi, Mario.
Hi. What is this on? Yeah. What was the question again?
The question is for the young generation who don't know you. Just introduce yourself briefly.
Okay.
Difficult question, huh?
Yes, it's always difficult to introduce ourselves, even when it's not briefly. Briefly, more so. But I think it doesn't make a lot of difference. Well, the best way to know me through the work I do in the water.
Okay.
It's like Arjana showed her videos now, and this video that's playing there on the side is actually the first Jahara video to be made ever. It's from 9396 when I started to teach Jahara, and was made in Berkeley shot by the late Bob Sweet, who was one of the owners of the Living Water Center.
Okay.
So, but in fact, although Jahara was created in 1995, I like to point out, and perhaps that is a defining moment in my life when I met Harold the first time in 1984. And it was a very curious moment. I went to, at the time I was already teaching. I started to teach very young, like when I was 7 or 8. That was a joke. Not that young, but very young. And I traveled a lot, and at this time I decided I already teaching shiatsu and movement awareness. I was taking some trips, and I decided to do a specialization in Zen shiatsu, which I had not studied before. And I was in California, and I saw this ad with Harold Doe teaching Zen shiatsu at Harbin Hot Springs. So I signed up for a certification course, which lasts 100 hours. And I connected Harold, that was 1984, with the number that was in the advertisement. And I arranged everything. He gave me a ride. I was in the Bay Area to take the course. I was to stay 1 month at Harbin. And once in Harbin, I went to the classroom that was not far from the warm pools to start my class, my 100 hours course at the school, a Nayama school, it was called at the time. And I thought I was in a different time zone or something, because once I got there was no one in the room. It was not far from the warm pool and was empty. I was certain that was my mistake. So I just sat, and when I was about to go out, Harold showed up. And he came very animated, sat in front of me and started the class, and I realized I was the only student. At this time, 1984, there was no formal class of Watsu or Tansu. He was teaching Zen Shiatsu. So we started the program, and he had this thing. He told me to come to the pool next morning at 6:30, or maybe 6. It was very early. So I went, and he said, I want to show you this thing I'm developing. I'm calling it Watsu. And I'd like to start with a practice every morning. So as a side to my Zen Shiatsu certification course, what I completed, every morning I had 1 hour and a half with her in the pool learning Watsu. And in the evening, after our normal class time, I would have an hour at his place learning Tansu, Tantric Shiatsu. So that was quite a bonus. I was very impressed to Watsu when I first received, the thing of having the ears in the water and being floated was a completely novelty for me at the time, and it made a big impression. Now, you may wonder, how can you teach a 100-hour course and get a bonus of Watsu and Tansu on the side, just one student? I would walk to the warm pool to get some model. We had all those nude models available, and they were all willing to receive or to be a model. So first, if it was on land, Harold would demonstrate on a pillow, then we'll go to fetch a model, and then we'll go back to to the classroom, and we get to practice in the model, and I would receive from him and giving. And that was a remarkable experience. But I have to say that I really got into water work, and I felt was later, was 9-3, after I took a class with Arjana. I was very impressed with Watsu, but Arjana, with the WaterDance, and actually I first received a session from Meenakshi, and that was in 9-3 already. And Meenakshi didn't know how to do it very well. But she bounced me around a bit, but still I found it fantastic because all the space that was giving all of a sudden. So I have many things that define me as a therapist and define the existence of Jahara too, but was the combination of learning the power of being floated in the water with the ears in the water and the freedom to move and the space to move that I learned from Watsu and then from Wassertanzen that made me create Jahara a year or so after.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much for the insightful story. Inika, you want to, maybe what we'll do, you'll tell us about yourself in a few words, and then basically follow Mario's story about maybe what is WaterDance. What if someone asks you what is WaterDance, then what is WaterDance?
I think Arjana could answer that a little better.
Yeah, that's very healing dance. Sorry. Sorry, I wanted to talk. Yeah, sorry. I'm just trying to find the people to highlight them. And just
we are all one.
Where are you? Where are you? Yeah, here you are. Okay. Mm-hmm. So we'll start with you, Inika, and then we'll move to Arjana, and she'll tell us about WaterDance as well.
Okay. Yes.
Just a minute.
Now I can't. Yeah, I know. I can't hear her at the moment for some reason.
All right.
Try again.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. No. It's double.
How's that?
Oh, spotlight, maybe now. Yeah, can you try and
let me
talk?
know?
There is something there is a telephone or TV or something you see at the same time, because we hear you twice. So try again.
I turned my volume down, so
good. It's better.
Is that
now
okay?
It's much better. Now it's much better now.
Okay. Yeah, Mario, it was really fun to hear your story and know exactly where you were. I lived at Harbin for 20 years and got to take your class. Probably in 96 or 97. I don't feel like much of a pioneer. I'm standing in for Alexander, and that's been my roots. Sorry, it's midnight here, so I'm a little bit trying to find the words. I started out with Watsu with Harold and decided that I wanted to move to Harbin shortly after that. And when I decided it was time for me to test to be a practitioner at Harbin, I actually failed miserably. I thought that I knew what I was doing, and then I decided to take Alexander's class. And when I took it, it was called Watsu Advanced Techniques. And so I took that, and that's where I felt home, in the movement, in the flow. And I retested at Harbin and was actually, I got on staff as a practitioner. I was able to take all the classes that I wanted because I was living there at Harbin, and I really loved just being there. And yeah, so that's my story.
Okay, and the story. Okay, so we'll move to Arjana. And
ארז, אולי כדאי לעשות את אלן עוד פעם. אולי יוכל לדבר עכשיו יותר טוב. לא לשכוח את אלן.
כן, כי אלן לא הצלחתי שהיא תענה פשוט.
תנסה שוב עוד פעם לראות.
לא מצליח לשמוע.
ננסה שוב, נראה.
Okay, so let me remove her as a spotlight. Helen, can you try and share? I can't hear Helen at all.
Helen, can you try to connect to telephone maybe or computer different that we can hear you? Otherwise, we can't hear anything.
Oh, I hear you very perfectly. And you hear me?
I can't hear anything.
Okay, תמשיך הלאה, אני אנסה לדבר איתה בטלפון.
Okay, so Arjana, we'll move to you, please.
When I was a young woman of 24, I was very much into dancing. I started as a child with classical dance. And then I moved to modern dance, and I did belly dance. I also was fascinated by doing yoga and meditation from very early age. And then when I was 24, somebody brought my attention to that.
Just a minute, Arjana, we don't hear you. Just a minute. I ask everybody to unmute. Please unmute everybody, and אני לא שומעת גם כן. ארז, תעשה unmute את כולם ותן לו לדבר. Sorry, Arjana, we don't hear you.
מיוט לכולם, את מתכוונת.
מיוט לכולם?
לא, היא פשוט כרגע, אני אנסה רגע.
Also, you have another, you have a lot of sound around. Can you check? Because before it was good, now it's... ארז, זה לא אצלה, אבל היא לא מדברת.
גם אצלך, גם אותך אני לא שומע.
נכון? מה קורה פה?
אני לא יודע.
אוקיי, עכשיו יותר טוב? לא.
לא כל כך.
עשית מיוט לכולם? תעשה מיוט לכולם עוד רגע.
כולם במיוט.
Arjana, can you try now?
Okay, so Arjana is on mute.
No, it's not good. No,
it doesn't really work.
Huh?
It doesn't really work because I can hear her with a lot of
But
echo.
I can hear you good now, so now it's better. Try again.
Okay.
Did you hear anything what I said or nothing at all?
Now it's okay. Now it's great.
You didn't hear anything?
Anything, and try to speak louder.
Louder?
A little bit louder, yeah, please.
Start again, Arjana, start again, please.
Okay. So
it was not before.
It was not clear.
No, please start again.
So when I was a young woman,
Again, it's again.
I hear a lot of noise.
Yeah, something doesn't really work. Unfortunately, I can't really figure out what it is.
It was really good when Mario was talking. And now? Better?
Maybe.
Maybe? I try again?
Yeah, please.
Okay, I said when I was a young woman, I was very much into dancing. So I started already as a child with classical ballet, and then I did modern dance and jazz dance, and later I did belly dance. So I was really fascinated by the body from very early age. And then when I was 24, somebody was talking about Tantra classes, Tantra trainings with Margot Anand and Aman Peter Schurter.
What's happening today? Everything is crazy.
Nothing really works.
This is not our day.
Not our day at all, no.
But now it's okay. Again.
Not.
Did you hear what I said?
Yeah, we did. Helen היא על מיוט. Helen על מיוט. מה קשור Helen אבל על מיוט? היא לא על מיוט. Helen לא על מיוט. It's Helen. Helen should be on mute. רגע, זה אצל Helen הכל. לא, זה לא קשור בהלן. רגע. ארז, תעשה unmute. תעשה unmute. ארג'נה, unmute. 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 ארז, אתה על unmute. Arjana, you are mute. Unmute, Arjana. Change it. Because it was the Helen problem.
Helen is sabotaging me.
Yeah, Helen is sabotaging you. Yeah, that's right. Helen, unmute, please. Okay.
So did nobody hear what I said? I
We
said
did. With just the last sentence. Yeah, just the last sentence you said.
so. Being very fond of everything what was including the body movement, meditation. I found out about Tantra when I was 24 years old. And I was signing up for a training. And during this training, a love relationship started between me and the teacher, which you would say today, this is a big taboo. You know, teacher and students are not really supposed to have relationships, but it was a very, or shall I say, very strong attraction. And if we wouldn't have come together, now we wouldn't be here, and WaterDance would probably not existing in the way it's existing today. So we both were very much into, you know, exploring energy and breathing and dancing. And we also loved saunas and spas. And we used to go to the warm water just to soak and have fun. And one day he came with a nose clip. And he started to move me underwater. And I had such a strong experience when I was moved by him under the water. It was, even though I already knew about meditation, it opened up a space for me, which was really very profound. I saw colors. It felt like being in the space. It was very, very strong for me. And we also realized that people who were in the spa, that they kind of had like this fascinated look in their face. People afterwards came to us and asked us what we were doing here. And they shared with us that even just watching was kind of putting them in a meditative state as well. And that's how we started to teach just fun classes, you know, evening classes, sometimes weekend with people who were into Tantra. And we realized that a lot of people just shared the same experience that I had, very strong, very profound experiences. So that was the very start in Switzerland. But if you want, it was more like a game, you know. We never thought that this could be something that other people would be interested or that it would spread like it did later. But then somebody told us about this strange guy from California, this hippie, this poet, and that he did in the water called Watsu. And we thought, well, let's go and check this out. And there was a class organized in Germany in a sanya center. And Helen had organized this class. That's also how Helen and me met. And Aman and me, we did a week-long Watsu 2 class immediately without any knowledge about Watsu 1. We just jumped into Watsu 2 class. And it was a very interesting experience because at this time, everybody was practicing naked, you know. And I mean, we were Tantra people. We were kind of open, but it was very particular, you know, to see that they were teaching this there in a naked way. And Aman was not so much into Watsu, but I thought, well, this is something that really interests me. And then I went to California. And then the whole thing, going to California, meeting Harold there, seeing that there was a school existing, all of this started then to happen. And here you can see on the video, this is Meenakshi. And Meenakshi and me, we immediately, we just became friends immediately. And she showed me at night in Harbin, you know, Harbin had open pools and it was summer and the sky with the stars. And I remember a fig tree with ripe figs over the pool. And this was the atmosphere, how I was learning Watsu with Meenakshi and how I taught her WaterDance, you know, very secretly, privately. I was young, you know, I was kind of shy, and then more and more people started to realize that I was doing something underwater. And I said, you have to come back to California. You have to come and teach this here. And that's how I started to teach, actually. It was in real classes. I've been teaching in Harbin Hot Springs in California. And my first students were, you know, Harold and Alexander and who else? Minakshi, and later Richard and Shantam. It was a really, I think even Inika was also in one of my classes, right? It was a really fun time, and sunny California, happy lives. The start of WaterDance, you know. So you could say it's really a baby of love, a love baby, not a baby in form of a human, but of WaterDance. The love dance between Aman and myself.
Okay. Wow. Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I just put you back. It's so inspiring hearing these stories and yeah, quite amazing. 1 second. So Ilana, should we try Helen again?
Try Helen again, we'll see. If not, we will keep on.
I have a feeling it will be better now with Helen if she unmutes herself. Because I think there were 2 accounts for Helen and maybe they were just bouncing back and forth. So if you can try, it'll be fantastic.
No.
Maybe, or maybe not.
It's not working with Helen. Okay, keep on. Sorry, Helen. Maybe you have to go to your neighbor.
Okay.
She has to go to the neighbor and then try to ask him for the telephone or try to change a place. That's the only thing I can suggest.
Okay.
Okay, so we sort of heard about the past and the inspirations and how things began. Would you mind sharing with us a little bit about the uniqueness and the important aspects of each individual discipline modality? That'll be very insightful. We can start with Maria, perhaps again. And you're still muted.
Yeah, hello?
Yes,
Can you hear me?
we can hear you.
Wow.
Helen, ask. Okay.
Maybe you should mute everyone, Eris.
I think the only
It's okay now. It's okay now. Mario, can you talk louder? I can't hear very good.
So the questions about the uniqueness of each method, or in my case, the method that I know best. Yes, I can talk about in fact, I see each of those methods, those 4 methods, quite unique, and they are unique in the way they started too. They began. As Arjana were saying, the beginning of her method was with a beautiful love form. I can pick up from the time that she left, actually in 93. I took a class with her, and that was very significant for me, but I couldn't develop anything immediately. It didn't happen. I had, my mother had a illness, a serious illness that eventually she would die from it, but the following year, I took the year off work so I could be with her. I knew it was her last year with consciousness, and she was a painter, so we painted together and time together, and it was a very beautiful time. the year after I took that class. In 94, I did come back. I took a break from my break, being with my mother, and I came back to Haben, and I was with Harold's class. I actually assisted Arjana teaching a WaterDance class at the time. And in 95, I was hired as independent contractor to teach aquatic therapy and to work as an aquatic therapist at a resort in Desert Hot Springs, Southern California. At the time, it was a very exclusive resort called Two Bunch Palms, which had all the Hollywood people coming and all kinds of people. So I started there, first as aquatic therapist and then to train the other aquatic therapists. But when I started, I was confronted with a situation that all work I'd done in the water before were people that were used to being in the water. They were having, and they were comfortable with it. And all of a sudden, I got a population, clients, that were completely untrained, so to speak, to receive or even to come in the water. I had a lady I remember that came to have a WaterDance with me as a therapist, and she didn't want to wet her hair. What was quite impossible mission. I believe in with the better WaterDance therapists would not be able to do that. So that's the uniqueness of Jahara, I think, among those therapists, is that it started with clients, regular clients, some people that have mobility difficulties, that had not comfortable in the water at all, had all kinds of issues, people that were hard, they resisted, they didn't move, they had no flexibility at all, people that were heavy, overweight or muscular, they're big, they're larger than me. And the tools I had were just not enough. I was not able to work. I was not able to do much. So I come up with the half floater, the half noodle, with I call the third arm at the time, because I use it as something that's alive. It's not just a floater. It's something that I move, put it in, take it out, move. It's mobile, it's alive. And I had another peculiarity is that I had a background in the Alexander technique, the Matthias Alexander, who actually was Australian, although he worked a lot in England. And also with the work of Mézières, which was a French therapist. So I studied both, I was acquainted with both, and I had this clear awareness of the body structure. And was not possible for me to work ignoring what I knew already kinesthetically. And I started to apply that, what became the footwork. And the movement started to come. And then, so 1995 was like a flood. Every day I would go to the pool and it was exciting. I didn't even feel I was creating anything. It was more like being gifted of something. It would come movement after exercise, and a different person was not a problem anymore. It became interesting to see what I could do with creativity that came. Everything became an opportunity. Just after a few months, 6, 7 months, there was a time I counted, and there are 100 new movements in the exercise, unique, different, using the floater, sometimes not using the floaters, the saddles, the laps. It was like a flood of movements. So I think the environment I was is a uniqueness of Jahara, the need I had, and the background I had also was something unique in the creation of Jahara, what is now known as Jahara. At the time, people would call me Jahara, personally. It was not the name of the method. The method had no name. Another thing, perhaps, that's unique to Jahara also, I don't know, I know about Watsu and a bit about WaterDance, I don't know much about healing dance, unfortunately, is the philosophy. In Alexander technique, for instance, there is this idea that we should focus in the means that you're doing things instead of the result at the end. So we don't work in Jahara thinking about a result or thinking about even the person who is receiving. In Jahara, we start everything from ourselves. Whatever I do to my client is an extension of what I'm doing to myself, to the way I'm holding my body, to my posture, to the lightness of my movement. And in Jahara, we aim to be effortless. In fact, actually, effortlessness is a concept of Jahara. We try to be firm without effort. We try to provide, we aim to provide clear support without the client having the feeling that we're doing much. And Jahara has other philosophical aspects that I don't think I need to discuss now here. It's not the place, but that's to give an example. So I think in Jahara, there is like the environmental situation of working with people that were just normal people. There's the background I had, and there is a philosophical aspect. Those are the three unique aspects of the Jahara method.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Just a minute. Helen, yes. Thank you, Mario, and thank you, Arjana and Inika, and we'll try again. Helen, she said she changed the telephone. Let's try again.
So, hello, can you know?
Helen, one telephone, not two. We hear you now better, but we need to try again. Helen?
Okay, yeah.
Somebody's on mute, רגע. זה הלן נראה לי כל ה... הלן?
No, unfortunately, we'll have to continue. We're also...
תגיד לה שאנחנו לא שומעים כלום.
No, unfortunately, we can't hear a thing.
No. Sorry, Helen, we can't hear anything. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry.
We cannot hear anything you say, unfortunately. Inika, would you mind?
Before you sleep, Inika. Inika, I'm sorry. Too late.
Oh, and you hear
Just a minute. We need to be, just a minute. We need to be, it's again the same problem. Everybody mute and you check if you have two telephone or two computer.
How's that?
That's
Better.
fantastic.
Great. What's the question?
So we're looking at the uniqueness and the foundations of the method, and the principles.
Well, Alexander actually created Healing Dance just about the time I think, Mario, you did. It was after Arjana's class, and he was so inspired. He took about 3 months off, and he and Meenakshi went to a pool and practiced and played and just really, really worked on, you know, the inspiration that he got from Arjana. And he came back with some beautiful moves, and some of them were quite like a little too crazy, a little too wild of movement. He was very into movement. He was a ballet dancer and choreographer. He also studied Traeger. So he started combining those modalities together into working with the water and creating a flow. And I think the principles of healing dance are really important. This importance of disappearing. So you're working in the water, and all the client feels is the water flowing past their skin, and just the experience of being with the water. And some of the principles are like moving by example. So to be able to disappear, you really have to work with the lower part of your body, so that your arms and hands can be free to just hold. The other thing is just doing half of the movement. So you do half of the movement, and then the water takes over and does the rest of it. He also coined the term movement as medicine. So working with how does movement, how does the client experience the movement, and how can you create the movement that works for the client. I think it's a very valuable technique in that he also, one of the main principles is called relating and mirroring. So we work with feeling into what the movement impulse is of the client, and asking internal questions, you know, what does the client need in this moment, and how can I be lighter and freer? And when you ask those internal questions, it's like the answer just comes. It's just there. Something changes in your body, something you know, opens, and there it is. Yeah, I think that's it.
ארז, אתה על unmute. אתה על mute, ארז.
Yes, so Helen wishes to... Thank you very much, Inika. Very insightful as always. Now, I think Helen wishes to try again.
I can, if you open it on Shanti's account, I know on Shanti's maybe you
again
mute me. Hear me?
No, I can't hear you. Unfortunately, we can't really hear you.
Sorry, we are sorry.
Very, very sorry.
Helen, you can write in the chat what you want to say and we can read it and say for everybody what you want to say. We are sorry about it. Let's keep on.
Yeah, so we'll move to Arjana now. Wait. No, we can't really hear anything.
Show me and what I doing or something.
ארז, תעשה לו מיוט, תגיד לה שאי אפשר ותעשה מיוט, כי אנחנו יכולים להקשיב.
It yourself?
Oh, I try again.
Okay. Okay.
So, is there a question?
Eat your food, Ma. Daddy's working.
Can you try and talk?
Yes, but is there a question?
Was this? So, so we talked about the techniques themselves. Maybe we'll talk about what is the path to become a practitioner and then maybe becoming a teacher in the method.
Okay. So I was running a school in Switzerland for 12 years and then later one in Belgium. And we call them Inika, these schools. So we have our personal path, which is similar like the WABA path. And just for the people who don't know what WABA means Worldwide Aquatic Bodywork Association, which had been created by Harold Dahl. And the Inikas were the younger schools that were created by Helen and her partner Shanti and Aman, who was here in the picture. This is me and Aman. This is what actually one of the very first WaterDance videos that we made here. And so we created the Inikas, these schools, and so we have a Watsu path and a WaterDance path. And when you do both, you are actually certified aquatic body worker. But you can also do just one of the two paths. And what you need, now talking about WaterDance, there is a class called WaterDance Fundamental, which shows the people some basic movements on the surface, but because we think it's very important that the students first learn something about stability, about grounding, working from the Jahara, and give some safety for the neck and the lower back, and just a few basic movements above water before somebody is ready to bring another person underwater. because when we bring somebody underwater, it's like we are holding the person's breath in our hands, which is like our basic need. So it's kind of a big responsibility to bring somebody underwater. That's why we first have above water moves, and then you can go to the WaterDance 1, WaterDance 2, WaterDance 3, and it's every time a 50-hour program or a 6-day class. And then we also have like individual supervision. So when a student has learned one level, he has to show what he has learned to a teacher to approve for the next level. So this is individually. And then we also have so-called supervision weekends, where we bring in models. So people who have never received the session, and then the student will work with somebody they do not know. And then they will get feedback from this person. They will get feedback from the teacher. Besides this, what they learn in water, we also have land modules. So there's anatomy, there is a massage, and also how to be with somebody to accompany emotional processes that can be touched in water. So this is basically a training to become a WaterDance practitioner certified. And right now I'm actually working on a training for teachers, to become teachers. And this also starts with a WaterDance fundamental. Actually, the next one in France this year in June, where we train 3 future
עשיתי את זה עכשיו. מה זה לא עושה? למה אתה אומר דבר כזה? המטומטמים שאתה עובד איתם יודעים שלהם. זה, אני יודעת.
There's someone talking over.
שטויות. נו, איך קוראים לי? נקלע?
Okay.
And
okay,
for people who are interested to study WaterDance, it's possible to do this in the States. In America, we have teachers. It's possible to do it in Europe.
I think Arjana is muted for some reason.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Just the last thing you said about where you can do it in the States, and then you just you went into mute.
Exactly. So there are teachers in the States, and it's possible to study it in Israel, as you know, and in Europe, in France, in Belgium, in Germany, in Italy, and also we have a teacher in the Czech Republic. And now I will be teaching a young teacher from Brazil as well, and another young couple from America. So it's just in the process now. You know, after 30 years of teaching classes, I really feel ready. It's really time to teach teachers and to do the next step for myself also. But this is just in the process. This is just happening right now.
That's fantastic. Thank you. Thank you very much. We'll move over.
תבקש מכולם, תעשה את כולם מיוט עוד פעם, ואני מבקשת שאף אחד לא יפעיל את המיקרופון, כי אנחנו לא שומעים כלום, אז בבקשה.
Okay, so you say mute לכולם. I'll mute everyone again because people are unmuting themselves and then it just overtakes the other teachers. So we'll just ask Inika, Arjana, and Mario to unmute, and we'll move over to you, Mario, for the same question about the path to become a practitioner and a teacher, and where you can actually do that.
Shortly, please.
I would do very shortly, actually.
You can't make anything shortly. You have to do it. No, but we have to finish, so let's do it shortly. All the question and all the answer.
Yeah, I don't really feel like explaining the path. I can tell you that there are paths, And maybe if you can post a link for our website or our
Sure.
Facebook page. The website is jahara.com. It's very easy. The Facebook page is Jahara International, if I'm not mistaken. But I just like to make a comment about what Inika has said. I found very interesting. I know so little about healing dance. Alexander was beautiful to watch him and was inspired. Also, his energy was, at the time at least, I haven't seen him in many years, but he was so fun in the classes or in the groups. And it's striking when you said about being visible in the water, because this is also very important in Jahara, that the water is the protagonist, not the practitioner. The therapist, the practitioner, is a clear presence on the background, supporting, creating stability, and being invisible because of being so smooth. So the receiver can really feel the water at first, and the therapist is like assisting, facilitating the experience. Alexander, in fact, he started before, because I had that year off in 1994, but we are on that class. And another comment is that Ilana mentioned to me when she invited me to this meeting, a video that she saw when she was studying with Meenakshi. That was, I was there in the video, Arjana, Alexander, and Meenakshi. Something that Meenakshi was very special about bringing people together like this. And it was after the Arjana's class. So we're all very inspired by Arjana's class. And I thought amazing, and she was to call Meenakshi, that she tried to connect it to Meenakshi, but unfortunately it was not possible. But I thought, wow, it would be great if we have a meeting, the four of us, and we could see that video again, because I remember that time. I remember when we made the video even, but I never seen the video. I thought this would be like the class of 1993 meeting reunion or something like this. It quite didn't work like this. Mm-hmm. But that's a comment I would like to make. And I feel really sorry also not being able to listen to Helen. Of course, this is a big loss.
Very.
Because it's the Watsu representation that kind of is bringing us together here today.
That's true. That's true. Okay, Inika, do you want to share a little bit as well?
The path to become a healing dance practitioner.
Yes, please.
Yes.
And then we'll pass on. Then we'll move on to the last part, which is questions by the people that are listening. So maybe they'll want to ask a few questions from you.
We have both an above water certification and an underwater certification. It starts with an introduction to healing dance and then 2 50-hour classes, healing dance 1 and 2. And then we have an introduction to underwater healing dance, and that's a 16-hour class. And then we have 2 50-hour underwater classes. And as Arjana said, after each class, there's a supervision, there's the student can't, has to be able to pass, and then when they, they pass that class and then they go on to the next. So Alexander also has a teacher training, and he does his teacher training, which is quite wonderful, very comprehensive, and yeah, so that's where we're at.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so unfortunately, we don't really have too much time left. I'm going to open the discussion to a few questions from people. I think Tova asked to ask a question, and then if there's anyone else who wishes to ask a question, just write in the chat that you wish to ask a question, and then we'll unmute you straight after that. Okay, so Tova, do you want to unmute yourself and ask a question to whoever you want to ask?
Okay. Hi, everyone. Well, it's really beautiful to remember the history and where it all started. Actually, I was there in California, in Desert Hot Spring, in Harbin. When it all started, I met Inika and Arjana and Harold, of course. I studied with him. And then I continued my work with Jahara. And actually, it's looking at the history of the thing, it's also beautiful to remember, as well as to look how the water flow into so many other places. And actually, I was meeting a student of mine from 20 years ago, and she said to me, wow, it's unbelievable if everybody just will see how it comes to so many places, so many beautiful places. So I'm saying it with appreciation. Many of you knows that even though it wasn't mentioned here, I established Jahara in Israel since 1999, and actually has trained hundreds of therapists in Jahara method in Israel. Some of them became a teacher during the years, and it's interesting because when I started, it was mainly about working with the physical rehabilitation. Of course, we were all very inspired and with the water properties and the uniqueness of the water. But with the years, you know, I realized that it's not just about how we move and how we use the water. It's a much, much bigger question of how we heal ourselves, how we heal through the water, and the quality of the water, of body, mind, and spirit. This is a new, I think, body, mind, spirit, water goes together so beautifully. And just to realize how we are not only soma, we are not only the body, we have also the spirit. And our injuries, our body injuries, it's affect our emotion. And we forgot how much the body is intelligent, and the water is just because we are so much watery human being. The water reminds us how our belief, how our emotion affect our body. So with these new perspectives, I go on continuing my work. Now I call it the TR Jahara, which has this new life, a new perspective. And you asked here about training. So there is a training in Israel. Actually, I think in Israel is the biggest place in the world where we have the Jahara method. And I have a lot of appreciation for everybody who's here. And thank you so much for being here. Actually, I don't have a specific question. I think everybody here was telling who they are and how it started. Just giving a view of how Israel is so wonderful in the water and how it takes us to new places and beautiful path with new perspective of life, of healing. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tova.
תודה טובה. יש עוד שאלות? מישהו שרוצה לשאול? Somebody want to ask question?
If anyone wants to ask a question, they can just unmute themselves.
Or we can we give the founder to ask each other. So who of you want to ask his friend question. Mario, want to ask somebody, Arjana?
Well,
Inika?
I would have, here, Shanti, I would have a question to everybody. I wonder who of you is able to work in this time, in this moment, because we face so many restrictions and impossibilities, did not do our work for a full year because the pools were not available, people wouldn't be willing to come and travel and all these. So who is able to work in this moment? And how do you and we think that we might be able to change the situation?
Anyone?
From Helen, huh? This is the question from Helen Shultz to everyone. And we can see Helen now, so she can ask her the question. No, she's with you. Shanti, is Helen with you now?
Did you hear me speaking? Did you hear me?
We hear you. She can speak also. We can hear you.
Okay, so Helen.
What?
I call Helen, she is upstairs. Now she can't come here.
So, ארז, אתה מנחה את השאלה הזו רק?
Helen.
Okay, I'm here. You hear me?
Oh, Helen.
Hey.
Good to see you, Helen.
Finally.
Hi. So talk. What do you want to know? As you may be hearing before, I was the first Watsu teacher in Europe, and I accompanied her. I was an occupational therapist working with handicapped children, and immediately I took the water and did all my treatments to my little children and school children in the water, and I was very, very successful. But then I quit my school because I wanted to do only aquatic body work. This was my goal, and I started with Shanti, Arjana, and Peter to do the first European school. And as I come from the medical field, it was really very important for me to be very precise with the movements, and we put a lot of efforts to really make it available to medical people, to physiotherapists. We put a lot of fine-tune. We learned to use spiral dynamics in the water, which was very, very helpful. And I'm grateful to Christian Larsen and the School of Spiral Dynamics. And we got a deep friendship with Arjana and Peter and created a school program, the first time ever in the world, where we really taught everything we would be thinking that's useful to be a very good therapist. And then lately we did 6 years training with David Sawyer. And so we are incorporating, we did the first ever training with him, and we wanted to really incorporate all the prenatal traumas and the natal traumas. And we tried to do a lot of healing work, also with couples, with babies, and we incorporated the shamanic way of working with water, which is also David's goal. So we created our own point of view and calling it shamanic aquatic bodywork, but still Watsu is my base, and I love to teach all over the world. I teach in Chile, I teach in Israel, which I love very much, and I would love to come back. And we are teaching in St. Petersburg in Russia, which is wonderful. And we have a lot of connections to other countries. And yeah, it's a big part of my life as a professional therapist since I was 42 when I learned Watsu. In 1988, working naked in a pool in a home for elderly people, which was really a treat to work with Harold in this pool naked. And then we taught him that it's not possible in Europe to walk naked. And we started to use bathing suits for the first time. So I have very nice memories of meeting Harold when we were younger. And so I'm happy to see here Harold because he is not the only creator of Watsu. There are many, many, many participants also in the old days in the 80s. Many people who are not mentioned, like Elaine Mary. I loved her. I took all her courses when I was in Harbin, and I want to honor her as a female part. She was wonderful. And I learned so much from her as a woman. And yeah, with Harold, it was always very special, and I accompanied him many years when I was co-teaching and learning and traveling with him. And this was really special because he, as a poet and a lover of paintings, he wanted to go in every museum wherever we were traveling. He wanted to go with me in a museum and see all the art in Germany, in Italy, in France, wherever we went, wanting to old churches. And so I have nice memories with Harold and also strange memories because when we founded together the first Baba, which was in 1993, was Arjana, Harold, Peter, and Shanti. When we were already a couple, it was very amazing that the two parts, the underwater part and the surface part, came together. And for me, it was a completion to learn the underwater work. And I'm very grateful to Arjana and to Peter that we could learn that and that Shanti could be a teacher of WaterDance too. And I learned with Jahara, I learned with Alexander, I took everything in I ever could. But now I'm 73 and I just go where I am invited and teach. And your question, Jahara, we cannot teach. We had to cancel all our seminars. But we have a pool where we can work and give sessions in Switzerland. That's the only thing we can do. But I'm looking forward to visit again all the beautiful countries and even to go to Chile and Brazil back again and to Israel. So finally you can hear me.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
and my first impression of Watsu was this strange home for elderly people where we had the pool and people looked into the room and saw all these strange naked people. And,
Funny situation.
yeah, and I'm very happy to see all of you, and I love Israel, and I would love to come back. I see Hidai there, and I give my gratitude to the work, and I hope we can meet again and unite again. And my memory of Harold in Harbin was very, very funny, and I want to share that. So after I did all that stuff in Europe and learned a lot and created everything, the first time, 1991, I went to Harbin. When I came in, I saw Harold on a bicycle, naked with a hat on and his baby behind on the bicycle. This was my first impression of Harbin, a naked man bicycling with his baby on the back. So this was so cute. And so I had some problems with working naked, and I'm very happy that we are doing this now in a more professional way. Oh, aloha.
Aloha. Thank you so much, and we're so glad that we managed to eventually hear you. And
thank you, Helen. Helen, thank you very much.
I don't know what happened.
I just want to say thank you, Helen, because it was really hard today, and I'm happy that we see you and we hear you, and thank you very much. Okay, Helen, now.
So one last question before we leave. In 3 sentences, the future for the method. Okay, so we start with you, Helen. As long as we have you on the roll and we can actually hear you. So in just a couple of sentences, how do you see Watsu and aquatic body work?
The future for our methods, that we should cooperate and not work against each other, but to work together as friends and to find the best of everything and bring it together, because people in this world need healing. They need the healing of our work. And I experienced this last weekend when we had 4 couples to teach and to give sessions with babies and with pregnant women. And I felt so much the need of being intimate, of giving care, of sharing, of listening to people. And it's not about concurrence. It's not about competition between the methods. It's about uniting and caring for the people who are in need of touch. There's no substitute for human touch. And we all should take this in our heart, that we have to be aware that we should really find a way to stop this lockdown and to show the world that we are alive and that we are living human beings. And we need to go over all these limits and do something. I'm a grandmother. I have grandchildren. I have 4 grandchildren. I want them to be in a natural world with nature connected. So this is my message to the world.
Amen.
Please, let's reunite and do something to stop this nonsense and to stop this craziness and to be together.
Amen.
As loving beings. Okay? Aho.
Thank you very much.
Anyone else?
Now, Inika, before she will go to sleep, she has to go to sleep, Inika. I'm very
Do
worried
you want to
about
add some? Do you want to add something, Inika?
And yes, shortly,
Does it
please.
get soft?
Inika, unmute. Good.
Let me turn my volume down.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, here in Hawaii, we don't have very much COVID, so we're not locked down, and we can practice massage. I've been practicing in the water with masks, and it works pretty well, except for underwater, obviously. So I'm happy to be able to be in the water a little bit. We have a liability form that we ask everybody to sign that, you know, it helps keep us safe and it keeps everybody else safe. Also, about the question about where healing dance is going, I think you'll have to ask Alexander because I'm not sure.
Okay. All right. Anyone else?
I would like
Yep.
to share with you.
Of course.
I'm about to realize a big dream. We are buying a village in Portugal, and we are going to construct a pool there. And I would like to have a pool like I have seen it in Israel, in Rishpon and in Elat. So with a natural cleansing system without any chemicals in it. And the pool in Eilat is now existing for 8 years, and it's turning perfectly. Jahara classes were happening there. Mario has been teaching there, and the owner is a friend of mine. So our big wish is to make a very big pool in this Porto. And what I would like to do is to invite water modalities, all kinds of water modalities, not just the pioneer forms that we were hearing today, but all these young generations who created their own way to work in water, like Jansu and Aguahara and all these new people. So I see this as a center, a new center in Europe that will be welcoming all kind of water techniques, and it's happening this year now. We bought it, we found it last year, and we will construct and renovate houses and start with the pool this year already. So this is a message to all the water people all over the world. Everybody will be welcome there.
Thank you. Mario, do you want to say a few words?
Yes. Wow, this was amazing. And it made all the difference that Helen could join us at the end.
Yeah.
Because it was what was missing. And oh, she spoke so beautifully. It's really touching. Actually, it's been such a pleasure such a joy for me to be in this meeting. And with all the balagan, you see, still people wants to come to Israel, or perhaps because of it. But also, it's beautiful to know your plans, Arjana. Portuguese is actually my mother language.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do love Portugal. I've been there quite a few times. I taught there a few times. I have very good friends there. And there is, in fact, one senior Jahara teacher who is living in Portugal. She has actually kind of farm, bed and breakfast. Whaley. She's Swiss French. It's not Swiss German, but still Swiss. And Inika also, and it would have been wonderful if Alexandra was also present. But I find it all very inspiring, and I just to conclude, to remind that Jahara, the method itself, is dedicated to my grandmother, who was also my godmother. And to my mother too, was also Jahara. My grandmother was Virginia Jahara, and my mother Olga Jahara. And my grandmother was my first. I had many inspirations in my life, many people who inspired me. But my grandmother, she died when I was 15, but well, I was very close to her. She had a large family, 7 siblings. I had lots of uncles and aunts and cousins, and I was always the youngest of all. And I had all this love showering upon me all the time. I felt very much loved as a child. And that was something that defined my life. Love of my mother, my grandmother, and the fact, what inspired me most in my grandmother was her kindness and her strength. She was kind and strong at the same time. And many people were afraid of her because she just would take no bullshit from people. But she was fearful to others, but I never felt like, I only felt her kindness. And in Jahara, we have a basic tenet, which is the power of gentleness. And the gentleness and kindness being something that is open doors and bring people close together and solve so many issues. Of course, you know, when you look at the history of countries in Israel, and there are so many problems in Brazil also. And you know that kindness does not resolve everything, but it's an amazing starting point. And it worked almost always in my life. Of course, bullies may not respect kindness, and then you have to set boundaries. There are people that just want to run you over, and then of course we need to protect ourselves. I'm so grateful to each one of you and for your message and for the words of Helen also.
Thank you, Mario. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mario. And it was very, very inspiring being here with all of you. It just puts a lot of things in perspective about, you know, life and the work and in the water. I have to leave, but again, thank you very much, Ilana, for organizing everything. And
thank you very much, Erez. Thank you very much. Without you, I couldn't stand all this balagan. And
you learn. Everyone knows Hebrew. Everyone knows the word balagan, which is good.
Even they know. Even Arjana and Mario and Inika know what is balagan. Who teach in Israel know what is balagan. But in this balagan, we handle it. And thank you very much, Erez. Go to your meeting. He should leave it 1:45. So thank you very much for another 45 minutes that you give us. And have a good day, have a good weekend. And for all of you, you can stay because you didn't see many of your students and they are all around here. So you can stay and talk each other or say something. And I want to say thank you for Erez first before you leave. And thank you for all the participants and for what? Thank you for all
Shalom to Erez. Shalom, shalom.
We love you, Erez. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye, everyone.
I want to say something. I didn't say anything in the beginning because I didn't say anything. Now I want to talk. Now give me a few seconds to talk, okay? Because I was like very confusing in the beginning from what happened, and I'm sorry about it. I did like 40 Zoom this year, 40 Zoom, and this is the one that has the big balagan, more than all of them. But this is the good balagan to see you anyway. With this balagan, it's good to meet all of you. And I want to say a few things about how this idea happened for me after I make so many Zoom for all the water people. I have a group of 2,800 people in the Facebook. I manage a group, and all of them is the people that work in the water and in the therapy and swimming teacher and all kind of water people. And then I thought that for me, it will be a close circle to meet all the four founder, because I started in 1997. It was the first time I went to Minakshi, and I did Watsu and WaterDance with her. And then I became a Watsu teacher with Michelle Shalanza. But then Tova Rosen came to Israel like 20 years ago, I think, or something like this. And she suggested me a Jahara treatment. And of course I said, why not? And the first minute I have this treatment, I enjoy very much, and I said, yeah, it's a good, I like the idea of this. And then I start to study Jahara with Mario, and I follow Mario to Brazil, follow Mario to United States, follow Jahara for many years. And at the same time, I was like a WaterDance practitioner and healing dance practitioner. And as you know, my business is that I'm working with water phobia people. And I start with all these water techniques, because I thought it will give me a tool to treat the people, the people that are afraid from water. But now, after I study all these courses, which was like 100 courses, I was assisting Mario, Alexander, Linda, all the teachers that came to Israel, I know them, I was assisting them. But now, after I did all these courses, after I treat people, after I work with this, I come back to my small world, which is the phobia water with all the tools. And it's for me like closing the circle. And I want this all technique in Israel will succeed as before, and will be in peace and love and work together. And that is what I want happen in Israel in the future. So thank you very much for all of you that you joined me, and now it's your time. You can talk, you can say what you want and meet your friend there, and have a nice weekend. And thank you very much, I must say, for all my friends like Osnat and Daphna and Tova and the Hagar and all the people, and Mirav that helped me, and Caroline that helped me in this Zoom and make it happening. So thank you, my friends, because I really have a good friend in the water, and I'm very happy about them. And thank all of you for your help. Nat, Hagar, let's talk. Okay, open your microphone and say hello to everybody.
Please talk in English.
People are very shy, you know, they are very shy. It's very difficult for us to talk. So I'll give you a little bit, I warm you up, Nadav, Hagar, Tova, you can talk?
We're fish, we can't talk.
You can.
Hey, Valerie is
Hey,
here.
Hagar. Woo!
Oh, Valerie, hi, Valerie. Now we can see who is here. I didn't see anything. This Adi, Zohar. Valerie, how are you? Marcelo, wow. I didn't see them for like 20 years.
Yeah, for years.
How many years? How many years? Wow. Unbelievable. Can you believe? I was in Brazil. You remember, Valerie?
I do.
Marcelo,
Many
you
years
remember
ago.
Brazil? Oh, it was so interesting to see all of you now, Marcelo. Wow. You are still together, the couple? Still? Good to see everybody. Good. I'm going to see who is more in this Zoom. I didn't see.
Caro is here also.
Who?
Carolina. Caro.
Carolina. Who is Carolina? Carolina. Where is Carolina? Carolina, who is talking? It can be in the front.
Carolina is a Jahara teacher.
Jahara teacher.
Where is Carolina? I don't see Carolina. I see you now, but I see you now, but it's you are in the shadow. Carolina and Helena is from. You're unmute. You can make a unmute.
Hi everyone. I'm originally from Bohemia in the north of Czech Republic, and I know Daria Havelkova. I've done Watsu with her, and also Kelly Procopio in Italy, Manuel Blanchard in Toulouse, and British School of Aquatic Bodywork, Steve Carl. They were kind of my teachers, and I'm so pleased today to meet their teachers. So it's wonderful to be part of this beautiful aquatic world. Thank you so much. I'm now based in the UK, in the south coast, and the pools are here closed, so I'm floating people in a bath online.
Oh, nice. Thank you for joining us. I'm sorry we couldn't see all the hundreds. There was like 500 should be in this Zoom. And I was sure that Erez, he told me you can put 1,000 people, but in the last moment we realized that we can make only 100, and I couldn't make a live in the Facebook because it's not my Zoom, so we see only 100 people here, but I will put a record in the Facebook group and everybody can watch the big balagan that was today. Thank you. So thank you, everybody.
Hi,
Mario.
Valerie. Valerie, I can see you there in person. Valerie?
Yes.
I'm Hagar. We were corresponding.
Nice to meet you.
Now you can see all the faces, each other.
Yeah.
Mario, you have many students here. Huh, Mario?
Where's Mario?
And the friends.
Many friends, many students, many friends. The Arjana, Inika, and Helen left, I guess, yeah?
No, I'm here.
Cool.
I'm here.
Okay. I guess you have, here, I see you in Shanti name. It's good that we can see you now. Now you can talk.
I'm also here.
You know that Shanti and Helen meet each other in the Watsu time in the Harbin Hot Spring, and they are together 30 years, yeah? 30?
Or no, 31.
31 years. Couple
And
from
we
the
met-
Watsu. They become couple. Like
Yes, we are a Watsu couple and a WaterDance couple. We are doing WaterDance teaching in India and Chile and Russia, and then she is my co-teacher. And when she's doing Watsu 3 or we do shamanic aquatic bodywork, then we are even, or she's the boss. How we do it.
But you are the technological person.
But we met in Italy in Saturnia Terme, where he got his first
In
session.
the natural water, in the river, I opened my eyes and I saw the fish. Saw the fish swimming. My first water dance.
Wow.
Soha, your baby, show us your baby, Soha. Open your phone.
Good.
Wow. Yeah, sure. Since long time. You also know her from India. Wow. How old is he? Open.